Okay, want to jump right into it? Want to talk to you today about grocery shopping tips for low income families of one or head of household or just one person resides in a home. Hey, listen, when people are living by themselves, they are the head of household, or some people call it a family of one. Um, Maybe they just happen to live by themselves, but certainly they have other people in their life that they consider family, other relatives or friends that are very close, like family to them. But we're going to focus today on grocery shopping tips for low income families of one or head of household. Nobody ever really talks about that. Very rarely. I'm not saying I've never seen it, but it's oh boy, you got to forgive my nasal sounding voice. I went into a sneezing fit again before I came on here as usual. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. And if you happen to be a family of one and you're tuning in today at 5 a.m. when I upload every single morning, every day of the week, have a cup of coffee with me. Wish I could be there to say hello to you directly, but at least for now, I'm going to give you a hello from here. So anytime you're listening to this, whether you're a family of one, 5, 10, or 20, does not matter. But in this instant, I have some suggestions for folks that are living as a head of household, family of one. Now, because that person is solely responsible for all of their expenses, right? Everything is on them financially, everything. So they want to make sure they maintain a decent lifestyle, a roof over their head, all the good stuff, food on the table, medical things needed, this, that, everything else. You see where I'm going with it. All right. Make sure very, very much so that you take good care of yourself in every single aspect because everything is on that person, that family of one. All right. But in terms of grocery shopping, that's an area where a family of one head of household person could take actually tremendous advantage of things. And this is a big mistake for the folks that think they're not allowed because they live by themselves. They avoid a thing called family packages, family size packages of meat, family size packages of cereal. If you do the math, and if it just happens to be a much better price than an individual unit, you have to do the math and you come out saving a bunch of money, you could still get those things. The only difference is this person, that family of one person, has to divide up the items, wrap them up very well, and store them properly in the freezer or wherever it is that it needs to be stored. For example, don't if you live alone, don't buy those itsy bitsy teensy weensy cans of, let's say, certain fruits or vegetables or whatever, because if you go to the next size larger, or if there's a sale on something with a bigger can, that doesn't mean you're left out of it and you have to be stuck spending more money on a tiny item at a much higher unit price. No, 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 no. This is where I highly recommend investing a few dollars into some good quality food storage containers. Okay, now those other little plastic containers like you could get from butter or or those creamy whip topping things, they're really only meant to be used as a one and a none. They're not really the safest things to store food, and they're great for if you visit someone, they give you a bunch of food left over and they want to hand you that so they don't have to use up their good storage containers, and you use it maybe one more time, but not for ever and ever and ever. I personally wouldn't do it. I'm just saying. I would much rather, spend a little more money and get a good quality, decent, food storage containers. Like the one with the word lock in it is a great idea. You see where I'm going with this. Okay, so why do I emphasize that? Because if you could get good quality food storage containers, you could save a ton of money by dividing up the larger quantities of things, which the rest of the world seems to take for granted and buy and divvy it up. It may take a little bit of effort, But all good things in life seem to take a little bit of effort. So, because you are the person, the sole uh, provider to yourself, and carrying the whole financial weight on your shoulder, you want to save money too. And if you happen to have a low income, I mean, there are ways and there are ways to save some money, and never discount the power of saving a little bit here and a little bit there. We know the story; it all adds up. All right. Um, I personally, I do not buy a lot of fresh produce. I don't recommend that. Uh, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy any at all. Buy it in much. That's something you buy in smaller quantities because people that live alone tend to, for example, they may buy the fresh produce and they're not using it up fast enough, and there it goes into waste. We don't like that. I know I don't. I'm sure anybody listening to this type of a channel is probably totally against food waste. Absolutely. So I mean, you have to know your life. You have to know your situation. Do you use up fresh produce in a timely manner? If be honest with yourself. Again, self honesty. If you do not, then do not buy it. No matter what they say, there's nothing wrong with canned or frozen fruits or vegetables. Use them as you go along. Okay, you can make great smoothies from the frozen stuff. I mean, I happen to love bananas, right? Okay, but it's not going to be easy to eat a whole big bunch of bananas. No, so I'll get an appropriate amount and as ripened to the degree that I like it. But I'm not going to go overboard. You see where I'm going with that? But nothing goes to waste because if anything does start getting too ripe, don't worry about that. That goes right in the freezer and it's the future banana bread. So I'm okay with that. But there are ways and there are ways. If you want fresh fruits, like things like apples seem to last a long time. So, but in general, I strongly suggest sticking to canned or frozen fruits or vegetables for the most part. Okay, but don't bypass, like the family packages of meat. Just take them out when you get home. Get the great sale, divvy it up, and here's a really helpful thing to do while you're on the subject of divvying things up. I am not a fan of shopping at the grocery store like every week. I'm okay with every 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so I count. I'm kind of like a bean counter. Okay, so I will definitely do meal components and what kind of things could I make with the stuff that I already have in existence. Okay, or I like to know, and I like to keep kind of like a little bit of a track of things and know that I have enough, definitely dinners and lunches. I count, I'm a bean counter for the next 3 weeks. I find that for me personally, it is definitely a great way to not go overboard, stick within my budget, continue to live below my means and in my grocery shopping budget. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any tips or tricks. You could apply this tip even if you're living with someone else. This rule would work. Same rules would work with a two-family household. Okay, because like the expenses, the burden, hey, life is very expensive today. I don't care what anybody says. Even just to live like a regular, non-extravagant, middle of the road existence. Let's be honest, it is absolutely expensive. You just go down the corner and turn around a block. You need a whole bunch of money these days. But the good news is when we practice our own frugality, frugal toolbox tips and tricks, it's very, very helpful. I hope I helped at least one person today. But I'll tell you one thing, you do hit the jackpot if you make your own pot of soup. How many servings of soup can you make if you make one big pot? You could use your slow cooker, your crock pot. You could do that with soups or stews. You could even put a chicken inside of a crock pot and let that go for X number of hours. There are plenty of recipes on here. Do all that in advance. Do all that in advance. Yes, even if you are a family of one or two. So anyway, just hope they help someone today. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your amazing family. Thank you so very, very much. And as per usual, super thanks are always appreciated. Thank you.